I am Victor Echo 7, Papa Zulu Whiskey, and this is Winlink 101. By the end of this video, you will be able to set up the COM ports on VARA HF and send mail via HF radio. First, you will need to navigate your cursor to and right-click on the Windows Start button as seen here. This will pop up the Windows Power User menu. From the list, select Device Manager as indicated here. The Device Manager allows you to view, manage, update, and troubleshoot the hardware devices connected to your computer. We are interested in the ports, COM and LPT device entry as indicated here. Navigate your cursor to this expand and collapse arrow here and click on it. This will show you all of the devices connected to your computer using a COM or LPT port. We are interested in what COM port your radio or radio interface is connected on. I use a digirig to interface with my old ICOM IC737A radio, so it shows up here as Silicon Labs CP210X USB to UART bridge. Here we can see that Windows has assigned it to COM3. Your device will show up differently depending on how it interfaces with Windows. Write down the COM port that Device Manager is indicating your radio or interface is on. You will need it to set up VARA HF. Once you have done this, close the Device Manager and open up Winlink Express. Select your appropriate call sign from the drop-down menu in Winlink here. Now click the paper icon here under your call sign to compose a new email. Enter your recipients in this box here. I am going to use my Proton Mail account for this test. Place your email subject in this box here. Add a small message in this box here. I would suggest just test, as it will have to send it out in data form over the radio. Now navigate your cursor up to Post to Outbox here and click it. Now your email is sitting in your outbox, ready to send. So far, this is all standard affair if you have been practicing Winlink emails via Telnet. Here's where things will start to get different. Navigate your cursor up to the Session drop-down menu here and click on it. We are going to change our session from Telnet to VARA HF Winlink as indicated here. Now your session should have changed from Telnet Winlink to VARA HF Winlink as seen here. At this point, you can click Open Session, and Winlink will open a VARA HF Winlink session box. You will notice immediately it is different than a Telnet session box. You may get a random pop-up while doing this or while playing around with it, asking if you want to download updated propagation charts for the channels. Click Yes. First, we will make sure that Winlink is connected to the VARA HF TNC properly. In the session box, check here to see if Winlink has successfully connected to the VARA TNC. Another indication that the two programs are properly talking is that you should now have another program running in your start bar as seen here called VARA. Click on it. This is a TNC program that was installed alongside Winlink. A TNC, or Terminal Node Controller, is what allows ham radio operators to send and receive data packets. Now go back over to your VARA HF Winlink session box and navigate your cursor up to the Settings menu here and click on it. From the drop-down menu, select Radio Settings here. This will bring up the settings box that allows Winlink to control your radio via the VARA HF program. Navigate your cursor to the Select Radio Model menu here and click it. If applicable, select your radio from the list of radios in the drop-down menu, and Vara HF will populate that radio's default settings. As mentioned earlier, my radio is an ICOM IC737A and it does not appear in the list. So I have selected ICOM Amateur Radios Early as seen here. This will require you to check the radio user manual for the address for the radio. Originally for mine, it thought 36, but that is incorrect for my radio. It's 00. So it wasn't changing the dial and center frequency of my radio as Winlink required. Now navigate down to the Serial Port to Use menu here in the radio control port area and select the COM port listed that matches the one your device manager indicated your radio or interface is on. Next to it, you will want to select the baud rate of your radio here. The most common default is 9600 baud. Try that first. If that doesn't work, your radio or TNC user manual should indicate the default required. Navigate your cursor to the Serial Port to Use menu here in the PTT port area and click on it. From the list, select your applicable radio model if it plugs directly into your computer via USB. If your radio is being controlled by an interface like mine, select the COM port your interface is on as seen here. Because my interface controls both the radio and PTT on my radio, as well as acts as the sound card for my radio, it shares the same COM port. This may vary for your application. This step will be dependent on your radio. Mine being a little bit older has some quirks. So if I don't have this RTS request to send box here checked, my radio wants to stay in active PTT mode transmitting. So try with it unchecked, and if your radio immediately keys up and stays keyed, close the session to stop it from transmitting, open a new session, come back into these settings and check this box here. Now go ahead and click Update to save your settings for Vara. If you get this warning box about using your COM port for both control and PTT, click Yes to continue. This will reload your Vara HF Winlink session. Navigate your cursor to the channel selection menu here and click on it. This will open the HF channel selector for Winlink. If it didn't ask you to update when you opened a session, go ahead and click the Update via Internet selection here. This will download new propagation charts. Once that has finished updating, you will have the most current channel list. From that list, you're going to want to select a channel that has the highest listed path reliability estimate here and highest listed path quality estimate here. Usually, it will be the first channel in the list as seen here. The channel list will also tell you the receiving station's grid square here, distance from your grid square here, groups the station belongs to here, and the station call sign here. Double-click the call sign of the station with the highest estimates to select that station as your receiving station. This will cause the channel list to close, and you will notice that the call sign of the station you selected is now here in this box, and your radio should have automatically changed frequency. In this box here, we have the dial frequency. This is the frequency that your radio should have automatically tuned to. In the session window, confirm the following: that Winlink successfully connected to Vara HF here, that your radio settings are correct here, and most importantly, that it says channel free here. If it says channel busy, someone else may be using the server. Either wait or pick another channel. We can finally send off our email. Navigate your cursor up to the start selection here and click it. Once you have, don't touch anything. Let Vara do its job. Similar to a telnet session, when finished, a Vara HF session will automatically terminate the session. You can see confirmation here in the session window that the email was successfully sent. Now we can open up our web browser of choice and go to our receiving email inbox to check for the email. Once you have confirmed reception of your email, draft a simple test response back to your Winlink address and send it off. Open your Vara HF Winlink session window again, or if you closed it, open a new session. The channel you just used should still be selected, so simply navigate back to the Start selection and click it again if the channel is free. The session will do another handshake and download your incoming email to your Winlink inbox. As before, you can look in your Vara HF session window and confirm that the email was received here. And it should now be in your inbox here. Just like with a telnet session, once an email is downloaded from the server, it cannot be downloaded again unless sent back out onto the server via a new session. Also, like telnet, if you have incoming and outgoing mail, a Vara HF session will handle both in the same session. At this point, you should be able to determine your COM port, set up Vara HF, and send and receive email via HF radio using the Vara HF TNC. This is Victor Echo 7, Papa Zulu Whiskey, concluding this episode of Winlink 101. Thanks for tuning in. 7-3.